You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. It's a mailbag, answering all your questions from Thursday's live show. First, a super thanks from my guy Marcus Arnold. Thanks, he says. Dowdle needs to be RB1. Nothing personal against Pollard. Dowdle is just more effective between the tackles. I get vibes right now of some similarities between Brandin Cooks and Pollard, where they've been trying to get him going, and through some bad luck, some bad plays involved by the player involved, and just some bad blocking up front, the holes have not been there for Pollard the way they were at least there against the Giants for Dowdle, although Pollard and Dowdle ran it better, and Dowdle ran it quite well, I think, in that game. I am fully down to give Rico Dowdle more reps. I do not want to force feed one back because you franchise tagged him or paid him whatever. No. Play the best guy. Go with the hot hand. Dowdle, at minimum, by that second or third drive, he should get that drive, right? Like that's what the Cowboys should be doing. At minimum, he should get more run. Now, should he be RB1, like Marcus argues? Sound off in the comment section for me right now. TP, for you want it to be Tony Pollard. RD for Rico Dowdle. Get those answers in for me in the comment section right now. Aubrey says, let Dak keep dealing and we will win this game. Also, can Lamb and Cooks be a top receiver duo? Will teams try to double Lamb right now? Hashtag no trap game. I agree. Let Dak keep dealing. You should be able to run the ball. Panthers' run defense is not very good, but the best results, even when you ran the ball better against the Giants, were because you let the offense air it out early in drives. Keep doing that. It's a smart thing. I got to see more than just one game from Cooks. And even then, it's not like Cooks is better than a Devonta Smith or a Jalen Waddle or a T. Higgins when healthy. I don't know if they're going to be in that top 3, whatever, top 4 range, but it could certainly be good, be what we thought it might be able to be. As for double teaming Lamb, teams have been. There was one play against the Giants. I think Lamb was in the slot. They had two corners behind each other, double teaming Lamb. So they've been doing it, and they'll keep doing it. But smart teams can work around that or get the ball to other players when it's that case. From Not Jeremy Chuggs' burner, Panthers aren't doing Bryce Young any favors with his current situation. Cowboys win by 24. I would love if they would win by 24. Look, the situation you're facing right now is, for Carolina, Bryce Young's in a bad spot. You're absolutely right. The O-line's not playing very well. The coaching staff is not doing anything creative to make life easier on any player on the offense, and the receivers all lack juice. Thielen's been nice, but he's not a number one. There's no speed on that. Like, DJ Chark is not doing anything as a speed guy. Jonathan Mingo, a second-round pick, and has been pretty bad, frankly. So the supporting cast is failing Bryce Young. I totally agree. For Matthew Scott, is Bill Belichick even an upgrade over Mike McCarthy? Probably yes, but it's not like you're not buying at the peak of the Belichick stock, right? You are buying like maybe he's got a couple of years left, he can redeem himself, but you need to find a good offensive coordinator, which do you want McDaniels? That kind of blows up everywhere it ends up going. So I'm not sure on that front. So pick a head coach. BB for Bill Belichick, MM for Mike McCarthy. Right now, who is the better head coach? Not GM, because Belichick's been bad there, but head coach. BB, MM. It's the pinned comment on today's video. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. AF Guy 79. Curious why you wanted Seattle to lose last week. I'd rather they win their division so we don't face the Niners in the wild card round as it is now. Still early, though. So, two things. What if I cheered against Seattle because the most likely outcome is that they are also fighting for that number 5 seed. And if the Cowboys settle as the number 5 seed, it's most likely because the Eagles won the division and they got the number 1 seed. So what you would want there is to get the 5 seed so that you can go play on the road against the NFC South winner. And that's a game you should be favored to win. Now, if Seattle wins out and then they're the 2 seed over the Niners, okay, great. I don't think that's a very likely outcome. That's not what the odds say at this current moment. Despite the current record, it's going to change as the year goes on. So I was trying to boost my odds to get the number 5 seed. I think take care of business by beating Seattle, having that tiebreaker. But if you lose that game, now you're in trouble. And now you might be the 5 seed or the 6 seed. And the most likely outcome there is you'd be on the road against San Francisco because they're probably going to win the division in the end. Now, if that changes later on, we can adjust it as well. But I was trying to lock up that 5 seed as best as possible because I don't want to be the 6. At least I want to be the 5 if I can't win my division, so I can go play the NFC South as opposed to the Lions or Niners or the Eagles or the Seahawks even. Elmatic 7. Think that Rashaan Evans is the answer to replace LVE. They came out the same year. He was a thumper. I picked him over Leighton Vander Esch. I think your Leighton Vander Esch replacement is some combination of guys that were previously on your roster. It's Damone Clark. It's Marquise Bell. And let's not forget DeMarvion Overshown, who should be back next year. We'll see how effective he is, but he was going to play a big role for you. Evans can be a thumper. That's fine. He was also unsigned until October. So long term, that's not, I don't think that's, we'll see how he plays. I wouldn't bank on that. But if you want that better run-stopping off-ball linebacker right now, Evans can certainly fill that role, and that's why I think you'll see him called up to the game day 53-man roster here officially in the next day, or maybe even by the time this Q&A goes out on demand. Today's show is made possible by Rocket Money. Who here has had a subscription they forgot about? I know I did. It was Apple TV because everyone loved Ted Lasso. You had to watch it for that, and then you forget to cancel it. It happens there. That's why I love Rocket Money, because they help me prevent that from happening. They are a personal finance app that finds and cancels my unwanted subscriptions or your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills all in one place. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel subscriptions that you don't want with just a press of the button. There's no more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. Rocket Money does the work for you. They can even help you negotiate to lower your bills for you up to 20%. Over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped its customers save an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. That's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Links in the comments and the description of today's video. But one more time, it's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. The Turnover Boys by Dak, which, funny enough, that's now Josh Allen's curse this year to have some bad luck, speaking of curses, is the Cowboys linebacker position a curse? I don't know about curse. They've had some bad luck with Sean Lee and Leighton Vander Esch, which to a certain extent is self-inflicted when the guys had injury problems. Overshown was just bad luck. It's going to happen. But you knew at some point LVE would probably go down. You always knew Sean Lee was going to be injured in some capacity. So unfortunate, yeah. Curse, not really, but also just bad string of it for sure. Leroy Pearson Jr., looking to December. You think we will need to run the same defense scheme we used against the Giants to contain the Lions running back duo? I think it's noteworthy that you had some great success stopping opposing teams with that kind of bear front. 5 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers. I thought that was very impactful, and it worked really well against a team you knew was going to run the football. The Lions' offense just overall is really good, though. I don't know how well you match up against that Lions team, especially on defense. That one could easily turn into a massive shootout. That the Lions are really good. They've got great coaches, great pieces across the board. Brian Perry, can Parsons play edge more than the linebacker role? I think you will see more of that against the Panthers. The Panthers live in 11 personnel. They'll put Micah at edge, and they'll stand him up some over Chandler Zavala probably, and get the best player on the worst offensive lineman. But yeah, he's going to play more edge than I think he did last week. Sean M. Is Brandin Aubrey an All-Pro? If the season ended today, yes, he would be. He hasn't missed a kick. He missed 1 extra point. He has been awesome this year. Some of you owe apologies because I remember when you were convinced they had to cut Aubrey in training camp. And I was like, nah, let it play out. You can always find somebody else. They found a soccer player to be a kicker, and he's been really good because kickers are easy to replace, and you should never invest in them because they are not people. With that in mind, are kickers people? It's kind of like the trend of running backs don't matter. They actually are people. Running backs do matter. They're just not as important. Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comments section. From Tyler, with LVE medically retiring, would you draft a linebacker or sign and trade for one in the offseason? I wouldn't mind Tommy Eichenberg from Ohio State, Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma, or Troy Anderson, Marte Mapu in the offseason. Anderson maybe could be available. I wouldn't get my hopes up. Mapu won't be. They just drafted him. But I think you would look to add a linebacker in some capacity. You've also drafted a third-round pick in DeMarvion Overshown. Marquise Bell was a piece for you. They like Damone Clark maybe a bit more than we do. I would absolutely add somebody. I don't think it has to be a premium pick necessarily from that perspective. Zaire Brown, if the Cowboys get the number 1 seed, do you see any team coming to Dallas and beating us? Because we won 12 in a row at home. At some point, you're going to lose a home game again. Whether it's on the road or at home, there's 3 other really good contenders, and several which are above Dallas right now, as they should be. The Niners, who own you right now, have to prove me wrong on that front. You've also got the Eagles, of course, and the Lions. All of those teams are legitimate threats that could beat you on any given Sunday. Seattle's not half bad either. If you are a diehard Cowboys fan, you've come to the right spot. Hit the sub button right now for more free Cowboys videos all season long. Crispy Bacon. Bryce Young might break the passing yard record because of that holiday, the holiday that Rowdy that got dropped. Rowdy is a curse. Let's breathe on Bryce Young. If your defense cannot stop Bryce Young and this Panthers offense, you got some real problems on defense. Abja Pawar, how do our wide receivers stack up against their corners? It depends on which corners are out there. J.C. Horn is coming back from injury. I don't know if he's going to be ready to go. I would lean towards he's not available. Henderson's banged up right now, so at that point it's Troy Hill, who's just not that good. Dante Jackson is a good piece. He's solid. DiCaprio Boodle. David Long Jr. got waived by the Raiders. It's not a great group if they're banged up. It's really not. All right, record prediction time as we get closer to the Thanksgiving game. What will the Cowboys' record be this year? Sound off for me in the comments section right now. Marcus Arnold. Jalen Brooks looked like wide receiver 3 on Sunday. I was impressed by Jalen Brooks in the small sample size that he had in that game. He also, I don't want to also overreact to, okay, he had one game, which he played well. He caught, 4 passes for 39 yards? Solid. Some of it was in the later stages, but Gallup had a bounce-back game too. You didn't have Turpin out there. And they like Tolbert to still do some of the durable because he just had targets go his way quite yet. So Brooks played well. I think that matters because it gives you some more depth that you maybe have more confidence in than you had exiting that game. I still don't want to rely on Brooks being receiver 3 because there's not a lot of speed there. Last one from Steven GX. Every time the Cowboys, the team that beats them, goes on a 3 or more game losing streak, we may beat Tyler for the next time that they play. I would be a little careful not to get too extreme on a small sample size. Remember, that was the Cardinals, who are bad, and the Niners. I do think playing the Cowboys beat them up a little bit. I think it's probably more, it's less causation when there is the correlation there. Eagles have a very tough schedule, though. That's what gives me the most hope for Philadelphia dropping a game or 2 at minimum here before the Cowboys face them in their next matchup.